Well, it's Tuesday, and I'm ready for another Rent-A-Girlfriend cliffhanger. Let the pain begin. I could see you trembling, and I realized... No. Oh, dude, just the look on his eyes. Oh, dude, my eyes are actually getting watery. Okay, that is the face of a man who realized everything he has done up until this point was pointless. The face tells it all. The way he looks down slowly, the little panning with the face right there, and then him blushing, the little drop, the eyebrows tilting up, like it just tells it all. Mijima Sensei is really good at like telling stories via the body expression from the art. Yep, he gets a flashback. Ooh, that's a bit of a panicked look. Whoa, that's such a good panel. That's such a good panel. This is a thumbnail. This is a thumbnail. I'm using that. I'm just telling you guys what my thumbnails are. The Girlfriend and the Boyfriend, Part 7. He's been there cheering her on from behind, yet now she seems so small. Mizuhara. Oh, sorry. Thanks for getting the water. It's just been such a long time. I was just enjoying watching it burn. But wow, those sparklers, they give off way more smoke than I expected. It really gets in your eyes. Oh man, she's so good at playing it off. She's so good at playing it off. And like Kazuya knows, like just the concerned look on his face, he knows. Woohoo, let's go, let's go. I'm gonna unload everything, make our lives easier. Ah, this takes me back. Damn. Oh, we got a nice scenery, a little nice moonlight shine, a wall, Oh, the symbolism. I like that scene because it pans back to right after Sayuri died, and it shows that Kazuya is standing at a wall and he's putting his hand on the wall because there is a wall between them, and he's realizing this. And I think this is the moment where Kazuya is gonna have to do something to really break down this wall. Sparkler goes off. Wow, the red is gorgeous. Oh no, look at Kazuya just, poor Kazuya. I knew from the very beginning. A loser like me cheering her up. What's the point? This is the worst possible outcome. It triggered his depression. Oh no. I knew I wouldn't be able to do anything for her. He kneels down in a slump. You're amazing, Mizuhara. Even at a time like this, you're in control. You don't want to impose on others. You played the girlfriend perfectly. My friend, it is time to be courageous. It is time to take a moment of action. I think Kazuya's gonna have to take a moment of action. I think he will. I know. Back then, God really is cruel, huh? And then, I'm fine. You're Kazuya-kun, right? I've known from the moment we first met. I was always just a client in her eyes. And she's just a rental girlfriend. Wow, we're going through these fast. I told you, I'm a rental girlfriend. Sure, I can rely on her. Well, it's fun while it lasts, isn't it? Let's handle this like adults. But there's no real relationship between us. Damn. No, it's true. He's coming to terms with the idea that there really is a wall between them. Like, their relationship is essentially like, it's like there are holes in the wall and it seeps through, but there's no actual relationship. Like, she still has the door closed and she doesn't admit it to him. And Kazuya is like really realizing this. Oh my god, we're already 10 pages in. What the hell? I'm just a rental girlfriend. That was the deal, wasn't it? Let Grandma see it. Grandma, the crying. But still, Mizuhara, I can't help myself. The way you're always smiling when I look at you. I want you, only you. The way you persevere. Wow, look, this brings back memories. Even when you're weighed down by tough times. Just 2 left. The way you soldier on, even when you're all alone in the world. The way you keep on living with your eyes looking forward. When I look at you, I'll do it, no matter what. You won't look for me, you won't approach me, you won't talk to me. Even if you think I'm annoying or pushy or a nuisance, nobody knows about me except for you. We have nothing to do with each other, you hear me? Even if hell freezes over, I'll never be yours. That maybe I just don't know my place, or even that I'm trash. I don't care. What's the big idea? I'm fine with it, because I want to be there for you. That's the last one. That was fun. I'm so glad I got to do that again. And right on time. Just 5 minutes left. Sorry for making you run cleanup. We should be getting back to the station. Oh, but I have to say, today's date plan, it was absolutely wonderful. Oh, I mean, I'm not trying to bring up money talk or anything, but you know, the way you were so considerate about your partner's feelings, yep, I'm sure of it. Any girl would have loved it. I think any day now, you'll find yourself a real girlfriend. Oh god, make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. The pain. It won't fucking end. My perfect girlfriend, she's... Yo, excuse me, what's Kazuya about to say? Oh my god, look at her face. Huh? Right then, why did I say that? To this day, I'm not sure. Okay. Whoa, excuse me, what's happening? Is Kazuya straight up about to confess? Yo, excuse me? Yo, what, excuse me? What's about to happen? He didn't think. His emotions, his words simply overflowed. Next time, beyond the smile. Okay. Okay, yeah, I need to process that. What's happening? Yo, what's about to happen next chapter? And of course, like literally the thing I was worried about. I'm like, hey, we're gonna get a cliffhanger today. I just know it. Okay, Miyajime Sensei's playing with fire. He needs to relax. Son, I need you to relax. I need you to relax. Okay. This is the part where I analyze, so let's try doing that. So, one of the things I find really interesting about this chapter is how Kazuya looks back to all of the moments he's had with Chizuru, and he looks back to these moments really early on in their relationship before it really developed to what it is now, and how those moments dictate how he feels and how he acts. So for example, the scene right after the events where Ruka joins him and his family for the trip for New Year's. Right before that, Chizuru tells him, this is a client and a rental relationship. It's not a real thing. Don't fall in love with me. And ever since then, he's really carried that. And it's weighed on him, and you can tell. This isn't being done to waste your time or just do what animes do to waste your time with flashbacks. This is being done specifically to build up the relationship that's happening between the two. This relationship is evolving into something more, and Kazuya needs to admit that what has come before this point in order to overcome what's to come now. And the realization that everything he's done up until this point has been futile is really important because it makes him realize there's still a wall between them and that it's not a proper relationship, so he can't share his feelings with her, open up, or show each other's vulnerability. He's done that before, but she has not, because she still views it that way, and Kazuya internally views it this way and knows she views it this way. That's why he no longer acts the way in a relationship should. And the realization that he comes to in this chapter is very important, because if he does not, then they will stay this way. And so he needs to convey to Chizuru specifically that he wants to really be there for her, because up until this point, the way it's been done is Kazuya has shown his feelings to her. He has. It's just in a way that Chizuru can still interpret it as, oh, it still falls under the client and rental relationship. So she can kind of just play it off as, I'm still your girlfriend. Take the scene where she tells him what her dream is. It's literally what I just described. He tells her he wants to follow her and support her dream, but he doesn't tell her like, I'm straight up in love with you, or I straight up respect you as a person and I want a real relationship with you. He just says, I respect your dream and I want to support you and I always want to be there for you. It's kind of akin to a subscriber to your YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, by the way, thank you. It's kind of akin to that. There is a distinction between having a proper emotional relationship and being a supporter of someone, and that's what Chizuru has always viewed it as. Not just because she doesn't want to open herself to vulnerability and lose herself, but in the process, so she has to stick with this lie she's created in her own mind. Like, this entire arc has been amazing build-up for the confession that's to come next chapter. Like, the courage that Kazuya shows, the dark thoughts, the deprecation, the depression, like all that shit that comes back, but he still looks past that. It really shows a change in his character. He's taking a step despite the risk, despite the fear, the anxiety. He's not letting himself be dictated by his negative emotions and really just saying what's on his mind, which is really, really different for his character. Like, everyone makes fun of him, everyone clowns on Kazuya for just being a simp this whole time, but this little chapter alone just really shows, like, look at his progression as a person, and this applies to the entire date, because this is not necessarily, okay, it's a cheer up date, but it is not a cheer up date at the same time. There's an underlying subtext behind what's actually being shown to us. And this sets a precedent for Kazuya's character and Shizuru's character, and this precedent applies to their relationship. And whether this ends up being a full-on confession or just a heartwarming moment between the two, it's really coming along to this thing that's like, okay guys, this is no longer a client and rental relationship. And what's interesting is how this chapter starts out. It comes back around to how the series started. It comes back to being, hey, look, the series started as client and rental. That's what it initially was. And now, when it plays this date out for you, not only does it show you Kazuya's progression as a character through the date interactions, but it also shows you like this relationship has evolved into something else. Just think about it for a second. Kazuya guiding Shizuru in the rock climbing to symbolize how he no longer has to rely on others, but instead can be a rock for someone else. The moment in the restaurant where they talk and she notices what his plan is. She can understand him as a person, so she's able to notice this. Actually being able to thank him for what he did in the hospital scene. That was a huge moment for her, and it was like a little subtlety of hers trying to convey her real emotions to him, even though she's hiding behind this wall. And of course, playing along despite what happened between them and despite her knowing what his plan is, because a part of her actually just wants to be around him. She just doesn't want to straight up admit that. This shows understanding and comfort between the pair and real chemistry. And Kazuya taking her to a movie and showing her a film she would actually like to see, and the hand-holding that was being done in that scene was really, really good, because the way it was drawn, the way it was presented, how it was illustrated, it felt different, and it was on purpose. It was to convey to you that, hey, this is a handhold that's genuine and emotional, not what they usually do on rental dates. And the way Shizuru looks in her face, the little subtle signs that she's really trying to convey something to him, but she's also trying to kind of like hide it behind her thing. The way Mijime likes to draw and present things is really subtle, but this stuff is always there. From the eyebrows, from the little like dashes of blushing or whatever the heck you want to call it, it's all there, and it's all hinting at this stuff. This is like little things peeking out of the guise that Shizuru's created around her personality. Heck, even the stretching, which Shizuru insisted they do when they were going to rock climb. She insisted they do that instead of just normally stretching on their own. Each moment served to build up and set up for the change in their relationship. Kazuya's deprecation, going back and actually overcoming these dark thoughts and emotions. Like, holy shit, look back at chapter 1. I dare you, go back and read chapter 1. I don't care how cringy you think it is. Look at that chapter and then look at Kazuya now. He actually sees the dark emotions and just says, but I still want to do this. I still want to take this risk, because I would rather take this risk and be there for the person I love than sit there and be sad that I can't be there for the way I want to be. Yes, he still like respects Shizuru, but at the same time, he knows she's in pain, and he knows that, hey, I gotta really step up and be there for her. And I really want to convey to her that I actually want to do that, not just to like help her as a client, the way she views it and the way she acts. The climax that's coming soonish, probably next chapter. I know I said that last time, but come on, he's straight up confessing right now, for crying out loud. The climax has been built up this whole time. This entire cheer-up arc has been a symbolism of their relationship and how it has changed from the beginning. It was almost like it was never a cheer-up date. It was rather a shifting point in the story, the reveal of the true emotions and the admittance of a real relationship, beyond that of a rental and client. What started out as a business transaction essentially evolved into a proper emotional relationship, and this is the time to show that. This is what has been built up this whole time, and I think that's honestly what's gonna happen next chapter. I really, really like this chapter. Like, sure, it hit me with a cliffhanger, and I hate that. The cliffhangers are straight up murdering me. Mijime, please, for the love of God, stop giving me cliffhangers. My pain is immeasurable, and my day is not ruined, but my pain is immeasurable. Make it stop. Make it stop. I just want to see what happens. Okay. So yeah, this was an amazing chapter. I'm really, really, really looking forward to what's next. Thank God there's so many other animes right now. Otherwise, I would actually lose my freaking mind. This is like the cliffhanger. I'm really curious what Kazuya is going to say. Like, we don't really know what he's specifically going to say, because like he starts off by saying my ideal girlfriend, so it's like that could go anywhere, but I feel like from the way it's presented, it's gonna dictate something between their relationship. Whether he confesses indirectly and it's so obvious to Shizuru that it's like, I can't lie about this anymore, or he like just straight up says it, and I kind of hope he just straight up says it and doesn't take it back, because he's always been shown to like take it back. Like, he says something and kind of takes it back. I hope he says it and just does not take it back. He's just like, this is what I mean, this is what I want, please believe me and let me be there for you. I could see Chizuru possibly acting negative to this, but Kazuya will like step up and be there like, hey, no, please, like, stop running away, let me help you, let me be there for you, let me form a real relationship with you. And she might just be like, no, okay, blah blah blah. I also like how they're portraying Chizuru's strength per se, like the way it's coming off, it's like it's almost overwhelming. And I said this like early on when we started reading the chapter, the way it's presented is a little overwhelming, because it's like Kazuya is like, what do I do? What can I possibly do to show that I'm there for her? Because she's just shutting me out. And that's what she does. Like, Chizuru just keeps shutting him out. And I would really like to see these walls just kind of break down, like really change who Chizuru is as a character, and, you know, kind of reveal more of her to us, because up until this point, like, we rarely ever see what she's thinking, and she always hides it perfectly. And the most we'll get is like a memory or a flashback, just to kind of like let the audience know it's like, hey, this is what she's feeling, and this is kind of what she's thinking about, but we never like see actual thoughts and monologues in her mind. What I could see Miyajime Sensei doing is, after this arc, if their relationship does end up changing, and I really hope it does, what he could start doing is start showing us Chizuru's side, her perspectives, what she thinks, what she's always thought, and really kind of put that into picture for us. Kind of like I was doing with the Sumi chapter. Like, in the Sumi chapters, you're literally just getting Sumi's perspective on Kazuya and how he's presented to her versus how he's presented to us. And it's really different. It's not the same thing. Like, the Kazuya that we see there is a total homie and a total bro. The Kazuya that we see is like this anxious dude who's just constantly thinking about sex and shit, and he's just freaking out half the time he's around a girl. And that change will be really enlightening. And Chizuru is smart. Like, Chizuru can open her mind and realize when things are happening around her. And so I think even though she's grieving, she can notice something like this, and it might cause her to possibly cry or break down a little bit. You never know. If you pay attention to Chizuru, the way she's being presented in this chapter was really interesting. She was actively avoiding looking at Kazuya this entire chapter. That was really weird, because she's usually very attentive. Like if you notice from the earlier parts of this cheer update, she's usually very attentive of him, paying attention to what he's feeling, what he's thinking. When they go to the store and she puts on the clothes and stuff, she just looks at what he sees and she's like, oh, he likes this thing, you're a walking emoji, I know exactly what you're thinking, so I'm gonna buy this and put this on. And then now that Kazuya has caught her in a moment of weakness, in a moment of vulnerability, not only does she put the armor back up, she actively avoids looking at him and looks at the fireworks, because she knows that one, she may have hurt him indirectly, or two, she doesn't want to show vulnerability to him because it makes her uncomfortable. And that's really interesting, because the entire chapter, like when Kazuya starts his monologues after he notices, she just never looks at him, like, ever. And then when he talks to her and he says my ideal girlfriend thing, she looks at him with complete shock, because she's just like, wait, what's he about to do? She's actively avoiding his gaze so she doesn't get hurt again, essentially. One of the reasons she doesn't want to form a relationship with Kazuya is because every time she's formed a relationship, she's gotten hurt in the process. She lost her mom, she lost her grandpa, she just lost her grandma, and every time she's been hurt. She's internalized this, and she's created this feeling in herself that getting a relationship is bad. And so this whole thing of rental and client is her way of saying, I don't need a relationship, even though subconsciously she's acting in a way like this is a relationship between them. Again, when I say relationship, I mean like friendship, something normal, not like full-on romantic relationship, because I feel like the romantic aspect of Rent-A-Girlfriend is kind of like the point after that. Up until this point, it's always been built up as these characters need to form proper, healthy emotional relationships in order to form a real romantic one. And that's what's interesting about Rent-A-Girlfriend, is because usually romance comedies, they want to focus on like just the actual romance aspect of romance. This series straight up focuses on relationships and how those relationships form and how they impact you. What are healthy ones, what are bad ones, what are ones that are toxic, like all that stuff. This series does that really, really well. And so when Chizuru is telling herself this stuff, she's just trying to convince herself that this isn't real. And so when she tells Kazuya the final line, hey, like you could totally get a girlfriend with like how attentive and how well you were taking care of me this chapter. The reason she was saying that was specifically so she could convince herself that she can just let go now. There's no need for her to be around him anymore. And it's like this lie she's created in her mind, so that way she just runs away. And so when Kazuya stands up and he's just like, hey, my ideal girlfriend is, she's in an instant panic because it's her subconscious and conscious fighting each other. One side, she wants to end this relationship so she can run away from the pain and not have to deal with it anymore. On another, it's the relationship she wants, it's the relationship she needs and she craves. So it's creating this like internal war in Chizuru. So it's like a two-sided internal war where Kazuya is like fighting his own self-esteem and anxiety while Chizuru is fighting her own war of like internal struggle and this maze she's created around her mind. It's such an amazing contrast between character writing because Chizuru, like, it's not conveyed to you well, but if you just analyze her character and understand her slowly, it makes sense to you and you kind of can put the pieces together and understand this internal struggle between the characters. And that's why a lot of people like Rent a Girlfriend, they just don't know how to put it into words because it's kind of hard to describe because relationships are hard to describe and we're not taught this shit in school. So also, speaking of the fireworks, I find it interesting how when she lights the fireworks, his inner monologues start. He starts thinking and talking and like going through all this, and the moment she uses the last firework and you see the little fizzle and it goes out, his monologues stop and he gets up and he gets past the dark thoughts that he had since the beginning of the series and just like looks at her and he's like, I'm gonna make it clear to her how I feel. And that was so good. Oh my god. That was so good. Like, that helped like really amplify the moment and the presentation and just everything that was happening up until this point. This is also like kind of a callback to the scene with Sayuri when they go to the theater together and he tells her, like, even if this relationship ends, I want to be there for her. And this isn't to say the relationship is going to end. In fact, that would really defeat the purpose of this entire arc. But I think what it does convey is that even though Kazuya viewed himself as this pathetic and weak person, he's okay with it because everything they've been in up until this point means something to him. He wants to keep it going, even if he hits rock bottom, even if he just can't see the light anyway. In the process, it makes him feel like he kind of has like nothing to lose, and he's like, you know what, I already f***ed up. This date did nothing for her. I haven't done anything up until this point for her, so I'm just gonna take this plunge and just kind of confess to her, these are my real feelings, let me be there for you. Because there were so many callbacks and references and just things that were happening all throughout the chapter just to kind of hint at you what's going on. Like, the inner monologues were so good. Holy shit. All this crazy stuff that was happening all around. There was so much setup and build up and just so many subtleties all throughout it. Like, I think if Kazuya had not acted there, it would have honestly been kind of like a sad ending, if anything. And I say this specifically because of what Chizuru said in the end. Oh, you're perfect now. You can totally handle this. You can totally get a girlfriend on your own. You don't need me anymore. And that was almost like her pushing him away. Essentially her pushing her real final relationship away, which is really, really sad. And honestly, like, it could have sent her like into this deep, dark rabbit hole had Kazuya really not said anything there. And I'm glad that he's like straight up stepping up and he's just like, nope, we ain't playing this game. I had nothing to lose. I've broken, and I'm still gonna do this. I'm still gonna stand up. I'm still gonna say what I feel, even if I get hurt in the process. And that was wonderful. That was amazing writing. I don't quite know how this date will end. Like, to be honest, I don't know how I can envision that. I would like it to end in them like actually talking and her telling him what she's feeling and really kind of opening up to like a level of a friend, essentially. Like, we've never really had that with these two. Like, they've never been straight up friends. And then that would be a perfect transition to forming a real relationship, a romantic one, because, you know, that's how you get a romantic relationship. You gotta be friends first. You gotta get to know them. You gotta understand them, kind of form like a real bond, and then eventually you make it into a romantic relationship if you want it that way, if you're both okay with that. And yeah, let's see where this goes. This could actually now that I think about it, this could even set up for the whole mommy thing. If their relationship like forms into a proper friendship, this could actually set up for the whole mommy thing and kind of have her come back in some way, because haha, we need a villain, I guess. It's not like the fucking depression from Grandma Sayuri dying and literally Shizuru's eternal pain is not enough of a villain for us. No, that's okay. We need an actual fucking villain to just destroy whatever hope and love we have in this world. Thanks. That's the gist of my thoughts. Honestly, again, I want to keep just talking. I want to just talk about this more, but I feel like it's best that I stop here. If I get anything else, I will just add it out of context. I promise. I will just record myself before I put the video in and just be like, hey, I remember this one other thing. Please, look at this one other thing I totally noticed about this one chapter because this is just conveyed. Okay. So in all seriousness, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this type of content. Please subscribe, hit that like button, maybe add some dingo action with that bell icon, and thank you for supporting me up until this point. So for now, I've been Faye, and I hope you look forward to my next chapter review about Rent-A-Girlfriend, because next chapter is gonna break my heart. Also, we're getting another Sumi chapter next week, so hell yeah. See you guys then.